Welcome to my creative space. Thank you so much for being here. If you're already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. And if you're not, I hope you will consider to subscribe and join my creative squad. In today's video, I show you 4 fall DIYs that I wanted to do and I wanted to squish in before I move on fully to Christmas and other DIYs that I have in mind. I hope you like this video, and if you do, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. And without further ado, let's get started. For this really cute garland, I'm going to be using this rope, and I'm also going to be using some of the yellow whitish leaves that I have been using to decorate my house with. And I also have some of those orange glitter leaves and 2 packs of this I guess they're sunflowers, mini sunflowers. And I'm basically going to take everything apart and I'm gonna remove them from the stems, and I'm also going to cut them individually so I can start gluing them on my rope however I want them to go. Glue them on the rope. I'm going to be using hot glue, surprise surprise, the same thing I always use, but I'm gonna be gluing them into this rope, and I'm basically just going to arrange them wherever I think they need to go. This is what it looks like once I have some of them glued onto the rope. Okay, so I had to move my garland to the floor because it was very long and I wanted to see exactly how everything was gonna look. And so now I'm taking my little flowers and removing the back of them because I want them to be flat on the back. And I'm also going to be removing the little orange branches or the little orange leaves. They're very glittery, but I'm gonna say I probably needed more. I mean, I made it work, but I think I needed more. But anyway, moving on. Now I'm going to start gluing my flowers down. I didn't show you this in the video, but I also glue down the little berries, and I will also glue down the orange leaves, and I just start spreading them on them. And I'm sorry, I thought I was recording like always, and I need to remember to check my camera and make sure that it's recording. But anyway, that is what I did. This is what my garland looked like when I was done. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right, this is going to be a super easy project. I'm just taking this bucket that I love, but I wanted it to look a little bit more expensive, so I decided to add some of this rope around it. And then I recycle some of my floral foam that I've used in past projects and glue it down into the bucket. And then I added some Spanish moss to make it look higher. I also used one of my pumpkins that I created, and I added one of these bamboo sticks because I don't want this to fly away. It is foam and it's going to be really light. So I just did that and stick it in the bucket. And then I also added this real pumpkin with it, and I think it turned out super cute. For this DIY, I'm taking 2 of these pumpkin trays, and I originally wanted them to be orange, but this is the only paint I had, and it came from the Dollar Tree. Nothing wrong with that, but I don't think it went well with this plastic material that these pumpkins had, so it was a fail. So it's why I end up painting them brown, and I just use my spray paint. But yeah, you know, some DIYs don't come out the way I want them to go, and you just gotta do what you gotta do to make it work. Anyway, now I'm going to be taking this jute rope that I have, and I'm going to be gluing that down into the crevices of the pumpkin to give it more dimension. Okay, so I created this bow using some burlap ribbon that I already had and glued into place. And the bow was a little big, that was covering the original stem that this plate had or tray had. So I am going to be creating a new stem, and for that I'm going to be cutting some of this jute rope. I'm gonna cut 3 pieces and glue them together, and I'm going to loosen up the bottom of it, the part that is going to be attached to the tray, and that is going to create my new stem. The bottom is going to be thicker, and as you go up to the stem, it's going to be thinner. And this is what I was talking about. The stem basically at the bottom is loose, and now I'm gonna glue it down into place, and I glue it down sideways so it can look like an actual stem, or that was my attempt. And I also added some of this rope around the edges of my tray because I thought it needed something else. It was looking weird. And now I'm taking one of these wooden planks that I found and basically adding a ton of hot glue to help it stand. I also added 1 bamboo stick on the back and added a ton of glue to that to make it stand. I also created this other version of the pumpkin just using the skinnier rope and just used 2 strings to cover each indentation on this tray. And I also added a bow that I created using this jute rope, as well as 2 leaves that I had left over from my past project. And this is what my new pumpkins look like. I think they turn out super cute. For this DIY, I'm going to be using this ring. It came from a 3D wreath from the Dollar Tree. If you watch my video on the 5 centerpieces ideas, I used 3 of them and 1 of them was left. This is that one. I will link the video below. If you haven't seen it, you can watch it. Anyway, I'm taking 2 bags of the wooden beads from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to start adding them to my wire piece. I didn't use all of them. I had a lot of them left over, so I feel like 1 pack would be enough, but I am not sure because I poured both of them in this basket. Anyway, I wanted mine to be a little bit bigger, so I just glued some of the beads together and added this ribbon on it to hold them in place and make sure that they were not gonna fall off. And once they were all glued together and in place, I spray painted them brown with my spray paint that I already had on hand. To decorate my beaded wreath, I'm going to be using this yellow white-ish leaves that I already had and these sunflowers, and I'm gonna be gluing them into place where I glue that piece of ribbon. Now I'm gonna be taking some of this burlap fabric that I already had on hand, and I'm going to be creating a big bow. I know that this is not Dollar Tree, but I already had it on hand, so it's all about using what we have. You could create this with burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I'm sure you can glue them together and make a bigger bow. But anyway, I'm taking this and I'm going to be creating a super easy bow, and I'm just going to measure how big I want it. And then once I'm happy with how big I want it, I'm going to be finding the middle of this piece and then gluing that to the middle, and then I'm going to scrunch it together to create that bow shape like. Now with the extra piece of burlap that I had left, I'm going to create the tails of this bow, and I'm basically going to create the exact same way, just scrunch it together in the middle and then adding some of the rope to help it stay together, and then gluing that to the back of my bow. And then I'm going to be grabbing an extra piece of this burlap fabric and attaching it to the middle of this bow. Alright, now I'm gluing down my leaves. I already did one side off camera, and now I'm going to show you how I did it. And it's super easy. I just basically added hot glue and then started placing my leaves, and I just try to mimic what I did on the other side. Once all my leaves were glued down and into place, I took my sunflowers and removed the stems off of them, and I also placed them on, I had 2 on each side, so I glued one down and then I had to take it off, as you're about to see in 1 second, because I placed my bow to see exactly where it was gonna sit, and it kind of got covered by the bow, so I had to move it a little bit up. And now I'm just gonna glue down my big bow, and it's looking awesome. I love this wreath. I think it's one of my best ones. This is what it looks like. And here is what my front porch looks like with all the DIYs that I created. I think they look amazing. Let me know in the comments down below which one of these was your favorite and if you're going to be trying any of this. Also, don't forget to subscribe before you leave. I know you want to subscribe and be part of my creative squad. I know you do. But yeah, this is all I have for today. I hope you have a great night, day, or whatever time it is where you live. And I will see you on my next DIY. Bye!